Hello everyone. In this class, we are going to discuss about the real-time PCR or qPCR. So here, quantification and monitoring of the process of amplification in PCR form the basis of the qPCR. And here, this PCR it is differ from the normal PCR. In this case, the in the qPCR. So here, the main object or the purpose in this case is nothing but the we can able to quantify the process of the PCR or the process of the amplification that is going to happen in the PCR. But in the regular PCR, we cannot able to do that one. And here, this method is a way of quantifying the amplification of DNA as it occurs, which means it detects the accumulation of amplicon after each thermal cycle in real time. So that means, so here in the regular PCR, what will happen is, so here the amplification it is going to takes place. So that here, but we cannot able to measure the amplification. But here in this case, we can able to quantify the amplification process as it occurs during the each thermal cycle. And here the real time implies that data collection and analysis occur as the reaction proceeds. And here in this case is in the real-time PCR, the initial concentration of target DNA or the target sequence it can be determined by comparison with the amplification kinetics between the target and an internal control with the known copy number. So here it means, so here in the real-time PCR we can able to detect the initial concentration of the target sequence in our sample by comparing with the standard internal control. So here those controls are the concentration of the those standards it is known. So here by comparing that one with our sample, we can able to determine the initial concentration of the target sequence. And here in this qPCR very much important is we can able to detect or we can able to monitor the process of the PCR. In the regular PCR we cannot able to do that one. So here after the PCR, so here we need to check that whether the product has been formed or not by using the agrogel electrophoresis. But in the qPCR or in the real-time PCR, so here as the PCR occurs, so here in the real time itself we can able to monitor, at the same time we can able to quantify the amplification of the DNA. So that here during the each thermal cycle, so we can able to monitor and also the quantify the process of PCR. So here that is the difference between the regular PCR and also the normal PCR. And here the PCR amplification of DNA in real time it can be measured by a fluorescent probe, most commonly an intercollecting dye or a hydrolysis based probe, enabling the quantitation of the PCR product. So here, as I told you earlier, so here I told you that in the real time PCR we are going to monitor and quantify the PCR process. How we are going to do it is by using the fluorescent probe. So here the fluorescent probe it might be either intercollecting dye or hydrolysis based probe, or it might be a the oligonucleotide primer which is attached with the fluorescent molecule. So here usually the fluorescent probe two types are there. One is the DNA intercalating dye or the oligonucleotide primers which are attached with the fluorescent molecule. So here by using these fluorescent molecules or the probe we can able to monitor the process of PCR in the real time. And here in this case, the qPCR it is used in the gene expression analysis and in routine DNA quantification, and is becoming very popular in research and diagnostics of various fields. So here at the same time the RT-qPCR. So here the RT-qPCR it is the one of the variant of the qPCR where it is going to allow the investigation of gene expression changes upon treatment of a model system, for example with the inhibitors, stimulants, small interfering RNAs or knockout model. So here basically the RT-qPCR it is one of the variant of the qPCR where we can able to monitor the RT-PCR process in real time, and here we can, this one it can be used for the study of the changes in the gene expression analysis. So here in the gene expression analysis, so here any sample of the cells it might be treated with the inhibitors or the stimulants. So here at that time some of the genes it might be overexpressed or underexpressed or it might be inhibited. So here those changes in the gene expression it can be monitored and it can be quantified in the RT-qPCR. So here that is one of the significance of the RT-qPCR. Okay. So here now we are going to discuss about the principle of the qPCR. So here before that one, so here let us understand about the reverse transcriptase PCR, how we are going to do that one. So here in this case what we are going to do is, so here in this case we are going to isolate the RNA. Okay, those RNA it is going to be added to the tubes, and here to that one we are going to add the oligo-DT primer. So here these oligo-DT primers, they are going to specifically bind to the mRNA because they will be having the poly A tail. Okay, so here after the binding of the oligo-DT primers to the RNA, so here from this oligo-DT primers, so here the reverse transcriptase enzyme will be there, and here this reverse transcriptase enzyme, it is going to synthesize the complementary DNA strand for the RNA, which is called as the cDNA. Okay, so here this cDNA further amplified in the PCR. So here in the first cycle of the PCR, the second strand will be synthesized, and here after which the regular PCR it is going to occur. Okay, so here after the regular PCR, so here we are going to get the PCR product of the cDNA. So here it is in case of the reverse transcription PCR. So here at the end, so here whether the PCR product is formed or not. So here by doing the separation of the PCR product on the agrogel electrophoresis, we can able to understand whether the PCR product is formed or not. So here it is in case of the reverse transcriptase PCR. And here, what about in case of the quantitative real-time PCR or the qPCR? So here there are two types are there. One is the qPCR and the one more is the RT-qPCR. So here this qPCR, what we are going to do is, so here this qPCR, it is nothing but the similar to that of the regular PCR, but only thing is we can able to monitor the process of the PCR amplification. So here that is the difference. So here in the qPCR, so here it is just similar to that of the regular PCR, but only difference is we are going to monitor and quantify the process of amplification of the in the PCR sample. So here in this case, as usual, we are going to isolate the DNA. Okay, and it is going to be we are going to perform the PCR by adding the Taq polymerase primers and everything, whatever the contents which is necessary for the PCR. And here in the PCR, as we discussed in the previous classes, there majorly three steps are there: denaturation, primer annealing, and the DNA synthesis are the extension. Okay, so here in the denaturation, the double stranded DNA will be denatured into single stranded. And in the annealing, so here the specific the oligonucleotide primers will be come and bind to the specific sequence in the sample. Okay, in the third step in the DNA synthesis, so here after the binding to the two strands, so here the Taq polymerase, it is going to synthesize the complementary sequences. And here in the DNA in the third step or the extension, so here what happens is, so here a complementary strand will be synthesized, and here in this stage, so we can able to see the formation of the double stranded DNA over here. But here in this case in the qPCR, so here for the sample we are going to add the dyes or the probes. So here in this case I am going to explain with the help of the dyes. Okay, so here these dyes are nothing but the intercalating dyes. So here these intercalating dyes, they will be having the capability to bind to the only to the very well only to the double stranded DNA molecule. Okay, so here in the third step of the PCR, so here the double stranded DNA is formed. Once it is formed, whatever the intercalating dyes are added to the sample, now they will become and bind to them. Okay, since these dyes are fluorescent, and it is going to give the signal, and it can be monitored, and also it can be quantified. Okay, so here this process of denaturation, primer annealing, and the DNA synthesis, it is going to take place for several cycles in the PCR. Okay, so here during each cycle, the PCR product is going to be formed, and here at the same time the number of PCR product it is going to increases. Okay, so here during each cycle and during the DNA synthesis step, what will happen is, so here these dyes, they will come and bind to it. Okay, so here as the cycle proceeds, so here the number of the double strand DNA molecules are formed, or the amplicon formed will increase. So that here the number of dyes which are going to bind to the double strand DNA which is formed in the third step of the PCR also will be increased. So here, in other words, so here the fluorescent signal, it is emitted by the sample, it is going to be proportional to the amplification process. As the amplification process, it is going to prolong and longer means. So here it is going to result in the production of the more and more amplified product. As the more and more amplified product are formed, so that here the number of dyes or the intercalating dyes bind to these product also will be increased. So that here the fluorescent signal also will be increased. So here this fluorescent signal will be captured, and it is going to be analyzed, and for the purpose of the monitoring and also the quantification of the PCR. So here it is the principle of the qPCR. So here in this case, either we can use the intercalating dye, or either we can use the oligonucleotide primers which are binded to the fluorescent molecule. So here that also it can be used. So here that one we are going to discuss in the next classes. Okay, and here the one more thing in this case is nothing but one of the variant of the RT-PCR in the real-time PCR is nothing but the reduced transcription quantitative real-time PCR, or it is nothing but the RT-qPCR. So here in this case, what is nothing but in this case is the RT-PCR is quantified and it can be analyzed for the gene expression analysis. Okay, so here it is called as the RT-qPCR. And here in this case, what will happen is, as we discussed earlier in the reverse transcription PCR, in this case also we are going to isolate the RNA. Okay, so here to this RNA we are going to add the oligonucleotide primers. These oligonucleotide primers will be bind to the poly-A tail of the mRNA. Okay, so here the reverse transcriptase enzyme, it is going to synthesize the complementary DNA strand from the RNA. And okay, so here this cDNA, it is going to act as the source for the purpose of the PCR. And here now the process of the PCR will be take place starting from the denaturation, primer annealing, DNA synthesis, and the fluorescent detection. Okay, so here in this case, what will happen is, so here the DNA will be denatured over here in the primer annealing. The specific the primers which are designed for the specific genes, it can be bind to the specific cDNA molecule. So here this specific cDNA molecule, it can be amplified over here, and here as this cDNA is amplified over here, so that here as we discussed earlier in the similar to that of the qPCR. So here these dyes are the intercalating dyes. They will be comes and bind to the double stranded DNA which is formed in the DNA synthesis, because these dyes are capable of binding to the double stranded DNA formed in the each cycle of the PCR. Okay, so here this RT-qPCR, it can be monitored and it can be quantified in this way. Okay, as a reaction it is going to proceed. So here the number of molecule, or the cDNA molecule which are formed will be also increases, and here during the each cycle the number of double stranded DNA molecules also will be increases, so that here the more and more dyes are going to be bind to these double stranded DNA molecule. So that here what will happen means, it is ultimately it is going to fluoresce, and here that fluorescent signal, it can be captured and it can be used for the quantification of the PCR process. So here this is the principle of the qPCR. Okay, as we discussed earlier, in the real-time PCR, the amount of DNA is measured after each cycle via fluorescent dyes that yield increasing fluorescent signal in direct proportional to the number of PCR product molecules generated. So here I told you earlier only. So here in real time the amount of DNA can be measured each cycle via fluorescent dyes. Okay, so here the fluorescent signal is directly proportional to the number of PCR products formed. So here as the reaction proceeds, so here the number of PCR product formed will be increases. So that here the more and more dyes will become bound to the PCR product molecule. So that here the fluorescent signal strength also will be increases. So that here by doing so we can able to measure or monitor the PCR process in real time. Okay. So here the fluorescent reporters used in real-time PCR includes the double-strand DNA binding dyes, or dyes molecules that are attached to the PCR primers or probes that hybridize with the PCR product during amplification. So here we are going to discuss that what kind of fluorescent molecules are used in the qPCR. So here the one kind is nothing but as we discussed earlier, double-stranded DNA binding dyes. Okay, these dyes will be having the capability to bind to the double-stranded DNA molecule. And the second one markers are nothing but the dye molecules attached to the PCR primer. So here the oligonucleotide primers or the probes are designed, and here to that the dye molecule or the fluorescent molecules has been attached. So that here these primers they will be specifically bind to the specific PCR product, and here it can be used for the quantification of the PCR process. Okay, thank you.